I paid $5,800 for this school weekly routine, which has been responsible for multiple six and seven figure community based businesses. And I'll be revealing it to you guys absolutely free. And here we go. So, right before we get started with the routine, I wanted to show you a little bit about the structure behind these six and seven figure businesses that I've been talking about. So we structure it by attract, convert, and deliver. So attract is when you have uh, a way to bring people into your communities or into your business. And the way we have it structured is that we have school networking and discovery, and we have YouTube. These two platforms, these two ways of attracting people into your business has been one of the most effective ways to actually attract people in both the short and the long term. So for me, I'm growing my YouTube channel, and while it's not very big as it is right now, it's about 23 subscribers. This is a long-term brand strategy that I'm currently doing week after week, and I'll be going a little bit more in depth into it. So this plays a long-term role to attracting more of the people that I want into my business. But in terms of the short term and the long term, I do school discovery and networking. So what that looks like is that I go into my own community and to other communities and engage with people and connect with others. So if I have a community itself, I can comment on other people's posts. I can make my own posts and have other people comment on my stuff. And as I do that, people are going to discover me. People are going to recognize who I am, and they're going to associate me with what I provide in those communities. They're going to have be curious to come to my own community, or they might check out my profile and maybe reach out to me. And this creates opportunities day after day throughout the networking process. And in discovery, once you have a good community that can rank in the discovery page, then more people are going to start discovering your stuff. So these are the two simplest attraction systems that you can start implementing within your school community. In terms of converts, both discovery and networking and school and YouTube plays a role in bringing people into your free school community and into booking call. So networking calls, discovery calls, and especially sales calls. Sales calls are going to lead people um, into your program so that you can start with your program improvement. Of course, is the deliver aspect, and then uh, help them reach customer success. So this becomes a flywheel of attracting, converting, and delivering the right people if you implement it well. So what this looks like in convert, if we go more into depth, if you have people bringing into your free school, this creates an opportunity to reach out to other people. So if you have uh, so many people in your school community, say 200, 300 people, it doesn't even matter how many people, you have the opportunity to reach out to them because they've given you permission to contact them. And this gives you an opportunity to book a call with them. So this is what I've been doing for the past few months, and I will continue to do so throughout the entire time I'm on school, to be completely honest. And I will now reveal the weekly routine that we can achieve this. So the six and seven figure weekly routine. This is going to be broken down into, say, like a Monday through Saturday sort of deal. And if you want to include Sunday, that's your prerogative. But usually I like to take Sundays off. But what this kind of looks like is that we have certain tasks that are going to drive the needle towards uh, your business success. So if you're primarily doing school networking, and I advise a lot of people to start with this because YouTube videos trying to create that is a long-term play. There's not going to be a quick fix solution to generating the leads that you want, but it does. If you implement it once a week, then that is also great, which is what I'm doing right now. So you can see here once a week you have this YouTube video right here, um, and then the rest of the to-do list is filled with school networking, running your free school community, or if you have a low ticket school community, that's fine too. But generally speaking, if you're starting from a community, it's best to start with a free school because it lowers the barrier of entry for a lot of people. So, school networking, running free school, and doing outreach and booking at sales calls. So, the vast majority of the stuff you're doing is going to lead to booking more calls so that you get more clients and get more deals, and so that you can start with the program improvements. And so, the way this is structured here is that you have sales calls and program improvements separate. The reason being is that when you're trying to focus on attracting, converting, and delivering, if you're trying to mix so many tasks together and you have so many calls booked on one day and trying to do program improvement with another, you're task switching a lot. And if you're going to end up breaking your focus if you try to do all this task switching when you have calls booked, you're worrying about sales calls, and then you have to deliver for your clients. So the best way to do it is to try to have sales calls on certain days and then have program improvements on another. So if you have like a booking calendar to have sales calls on certain days, that's probably best to do so, so that you could have some other days saved solely for uh, program improvement and then doing other outreach or networking that doesn't involve calls in particular. And then, of course, every day of the week is focused on customer success, assuming you have customers. So if you do not have customers right now, if you don't have clients to serve, you can completely neglect this and go all in on the networking, the outreach, running your school community, booking more calls, and maybe recording YouTube videos at least once a week. So what this looks like in attract, convert, and deliver aspects is that you want to be able to separate this from YouTube video and school networking. So what this can look like from ideation to publish. So when you're creating YouTube video, you want to at least try to stick with one per week. If you could stick with that cadence, then it will be unreasonable that you won't succeed if you apply this right. So one of the things that I do is try to start generating video ideas. Even 10 video ideas per week is good to good to start so they can start selecting what ideas are going to resonate with your audience the most. And it could be a simple brain dump of ideas that resonate with your audience. I try to do this for like 30 minutes to an hour, maybe less, depending on what ideas resonate with me and what resonates with the audience. So I just brain dump them on a Notion or notepad. Sometimes I just write it down on a journal right here. I pen and paper works flawlessly. But what matters is like you want to start generating those ideas and then select the video idea that most sticks with you, that's going to resonate with your audience and something that you have the most interest on recording. Because if you want to start doing these videos, you might as well do something that interests you and something that you enjoy, because otherwise you might not stick with it. And so once you have that video idea generated and selected, start picking a title and a thumbnail and a hook. So it can look from like there are many different titles and thumbnails and hooks to select from, and it's just a matter of seeing what has already worked in the past or what has worked for others and try to implement them in your own way. And this is what I'm doing, what I've done for the vast majority of my YouTube videos. Before I even start recording, I try to pick a title for one, and the thumbnail and the hook, because what matters is the packaging of the video before the actual recording. The biggest thing to focus on in terms of YouTube videos is actually getting people to click. And this is, of course, something that I am improving on as a skill myself. I'm not perfect at it, but as a week as a weekly thing, I try to improve this skill, and then start to brain dump one of your uh, the video itself. So once you have an idea, once you have a kind of an understanding of what you're going to be doing in this video, just do a certain easy brain dump. You could do this on Chat GPT. You could say, I want to brain dump a video idea for this title, this video idea. And they just brain dump everything. And then as you brain dump it, you can create an outline to start with a hook, and then the problems that we were facing and certain steps to get a certain result, whatever the case. Um, and then once you have that outline, once you have like a Google Doc or a certain outline that you can look through, simply record the video and then edit. I like to edit very minimally. So I cut the intro and maybe do a little bit of the outro to try to sharpen things up. And then that's it. I don't really focus too much on the in between. There's going to be mistakes from my speech, but I think that's going to be a lot better because people love authenticity. And if I make mistakes on the call, I'm not trying to worry too much about that because um, once I once I get down to the editing and the recording, like if I'm worrying too much about what I'm saying, then I'm going to be spending hours on the editing trying to cut things and try to edit the spacing in between my words. I don't need to worry about that. For a lot of creators, you shouldn't have to worry too much about the editing and then start to upload. So this entirety can be solved in a matter of a few hours a week at best. If you have a good video idea, like a 10 out of 10 video idea, even with 1 out of 10 execution, it's going to crush because great ideas are going to be the biggest leading indicator of success for you. So that's the YouTube video one per, if you can manage that one per week, then that's awesome. In terms of the school networking, do you want to start these are going to be involving going into other communities. Say for me, let me see if you could see this. I'm going to share my window right here. So what this looks like for school networking is involving yourself with other communities. So as you can see, this is my community right now. I do engage with my audience. I do try to nurture the people in my community. But what happens if no one's engaging in the community as of yet? I'm stumped. I might not be able to get the people involved. Sometimes there might be one or two people engaged, but then sometimes you hit a roadblock. This is where the school networking comes in by reaching out to other communities. So for me, synthesizer is a big one, and as you can see in the leaderboard, I'm top 10 on the leaderboard of all time. I've involved myself in other communities like this one for months, and the good thing about this is the more you involve yourself in other communities, the more you make posts, the more you make content, the more people associate you with the value that you provide, and then they start to trust you. They start to involve themselves with you and other communities. They start to reach out to you. They start to book more calls. So, what this looks like tactically is that you want to start posting at least 3 times per week. Again, a good cadence that you could stick with, so that people are going to start seeing more of you. And in terms of the comments, we like to say keep a 1 to 10 ratio of posts per comment. So if you do 3 posts per week, it's ideal for you to do like 30 per day. Um, so probably like 30, 60, 90, however many per week. But um, make sure you do a lot more comments and posts because the people are wanting to engage with you, and people are going to start associating you with more value and goodwill. So I will show you what I've done within Synthesizer with just the posts I've done. So I've done this 5 hours ago. Something that I gained an insight from the other day, one of the small groups I go to in my church, and it was called "Sit in the Fire, Come Out Like Silver and Gold." And there was some resonance there: 13 likes, 22 comments in the 5 hours ago. And of course, I've received a lot more resonance with other posts that I've done. And I try to do this every once in a while. And of course, I haven't posted nearly as much as I said. Like if I do three posts per week, I'll probably want to do a little bit more now. But I emphasize a lot more comments and posts. So one of the posts that I've done a little while ago, a few months ago, really hit. some resonance with a large audience within this community. So tracking my time for 7 days, here's everything I've learned. 159 likes, 212 comments, and it also got pinned in the community. So this created a lot of opportunities for other people to reach out to me and like, comment with other people and then book more calls. So these are the things that are going to present the opportunities for you. So make posts, make comments, and then try to do like so these posts and comments are going to lead to conversations, and this is where the outreach will come in soon. So I'll be talking about that in the convert. So running the free school. So this is assuming that you have people in your community. If you're starting with one or two people, it might not be best to focus too much on the free school, because your biggest focus is to do the networking that is going to attract more people into your community. But assuming you have a good amount of people, like me, I have close to 178 members, then I have opportunities to reach out to people. So someone actually commented 1 minute ago about this, and she was. I'm recording this now, but about this school weekly routine, and she says she missed it. She can hop in if she wants. But anyway, uh, these are the posts that you want to start doing. So, like the similar cadence that you're doing with the school networking. So, they're doing the 3 per week. This can be engagement posts. This can be value posts, something that's fun and insightful for people to actually wanting to engage with, so that it creates more opportunities to reach out to people. And then once you have this opportunity, you can start reaching out to people within the comments or people that like your post even. So comments 30 per day. If you could sustain that, if people aren't commenting as much, it might be harder to reach this. But if you have a good engaged community, you can spend a lot of your time honestly on the school community and just connect with people there. And as people are going and making posts and comments, or you making posts and comments, then that can create opportunities to book calls. So I can engage with Lindsay. I've actually booked a call with her. We're going to be talking pretty soon. So I've already made that opportunity to connect with her, and you can do this over time. So running this free school, post comments, calls, and then the outreach. This is probably the highest leverage thing that we should do as school community owners or creators. The outreach can be boring, but is the one to drive the biggest success out of anything, because the more outreach we do, the more calls we get booked, and the more opportunities we have to be able to close, to get more clients, have improve our products and services, and achieve customer success. That is the biggest key. So this we need to start initiating more chats with people, because we can't rely on other people reaching out to us. That is a hope technique that so many creators, including myself, have fallen uh, fallen for. Assuming we make content on social media, we may maybe get some views, we may get some engagement, but if we're relying on people on buying our stuff or booking calls, then that hope is not really going to get you anywhere. Especially assuming if you are starting with a little to no following on, say, YouTube or TikTok or Instagram and things like that. If you're relying on people to buy your stuff solely through content and doing no outreach whatsoever, then you're more than likely going to shoot yourself in the foot, and I have as well. So I'm speaking from experience here. So noting that this is the highest leverage activity, you should aim to do as many as possible. And sometimes I struggle with this myself, but to try to do 100 per day. And if you can't sustain that yourself, then try to stick with 10 or 20 or 30 per day, because this is still going to be the highest leverage activity no matter how much time you have available to start converting people. This is important. So the way to be able to outreach people is that people join your community. The moment people join your community, that becomes a lead, that becomes they have given you permission to contact you. So you should make an opportunity to reach out to them, book a call, or do an onboarding process for them. Two, people who engage with your posts and comments. So, like I said, any post that you make within your community or other communities, that gives you opportunities to DM, to reach out to people. So, synthesizer, I have 14 likes, 22 comments. Right here, I have 14 opportunities to reach out to people in book calls. That's a lot of people. Like, think about it. If you're running like a high ticket program, you have 14 people just on a like. That gives you opportunities to reach out to them. And yeah, that's so if people who engage with your posts and comments create that opportunity. And then people in school communities, like I said. So another thing here is that once you actually go through this outreach process on school, you're going to hit a limit. There's 10 DMs per week that if you exhaust that limit, which you should, I still try to exhaust that limit per week, then you're likely going to hit a roadblock to not be able to reach out to other people. So once you have this, try to look through their other profiles. If they have an Instagram, if they have a TikTok, if they have a LinkedIn, you can use those platforms to reach out to them, meet with them where they're at, and then you could try to reach out to them. So this is what you would do if you exhausted that limit. So one of the first things you should do at the start of the week is try to exhaust that school DM limit. And then that can create other opportunities to follow up with people as well. And I'll probably touch on that soon. And then sales calls daily. This is dependent on whether you are closing deals. So if you're starting on sales calls, you might not be closing as well as you hoped. So you might want to consider doing this every day if you don't have a program to improve on. Once you don't have, if you don't have clients to close, then you might want to consider doing more sales calls per each day rather than program improvements. Because if you don't have anyone to sell to, if you don't have anyone there closing, how are you going to improve your program? Because you need to actually have those people in your program first to start improving on it. There could be some situations where this could be different. So if you're doing case studies, if you're doing free work and implementing your program through your case studies, that could be an exception. But for the most part, you want to be starting to close more people so that you can start improving your program and then therefore having better customer success. And then we move on to the deliver aspect, which is I'll probably touch on this the least because for the vast majority of creators, we don't have uh we don't this is not our bottleneck for us. This is not our constraint. So if you are not in this, then you don't have to pay too much attention to this, but it's good to touch up on once you get to the deliver side. And this is a good reminder for me. Um, so you do the program improvement week after week. So you go through the program outline, um, you do the training, and then especially focus on over delivering. So if you sell people on something and uh, probably the most ideal scenario here is if you try to close someone and you under promise something, uh, then they have low expectations. But if you could over deliver them, that exceeds their expectations. So that's kind of the premise that we want to reach. That's kind of the idea that we want to hammer on is the over delivery aspect. You give them more value than what they bargained for, and if especially if you're doing a high ticket thing, they might have some sort of expectation. But if you say to them you're not going to make any crazy promises, if you set the bar low for them and already over deliver, that is going to massively improve customer success along the way. And what this can look like on a daily basis, responding to DMs, the comments that they make, doing group calls, assuming you do like a cohort. So if you're doing like a coaching call one-on-one thing, this can be like one a week or two a week, depending on how you structure your customer success. And then check ins weekly to see their progress. So that is mostly the routine to stick with um, for the 6 and 7 figure weekly routine. And this is something that I'll be following from here on out. And as part of a one source rule, this routine has everything you need to get to 6 and 7 figures. And if it's not on this list, don't do it. So if you're doing anything that is like worrying about the logo design or the trying to improve your copy on your about page or trying to polish the course material and whatnot, a lot of these things, unless you're doing delivery, is not the focus that you need to do. So the vast majority of the things we need to focus on is attract and convert. If you already have a client or case study for people doing free work, delivery will be in the routine. But for the most part, it's attract and convert. And another thing here is don't innovate on attract and convert. A lot of people like to try to be too creative on the model itself, but the only innovation we should have is on our product. So if we've solved the marketing and sales for you, you just need to follow the steps to ensure you deliver good results. And um, and if you can stay focused on this for the 12 to 14 months, your entire life will change from this. And I wanted to hammer on this really well. There is there are so many things that we can do to be productive as creators, entrepreneurs, whatever we call ourselves. But if we're not doing the actions that are going to actually move the needle, what are we really doing? We have only 24 hours in a day, and a lot less than that, in particular for working hours. So if we're actually driving the needle on these primary actions that are going to get us results, we're going to see the progress that we ultimately need to make. And if you're still stumped, if you're still confused on how to actually set this up for yourself, I do work one on one to be able to help you build the focus you need to start growing your Skool community the way it needs to. So if you're interested in that, book a call below this video and I will be glad to help you. But anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you found some value out of it and talk to you soon.